What's amazing is this isn't the first time that you two have been on the show together. You were in one of our shows in London. You always get on great when you see...
We made big plans.
Do you?
Came together. We were like, we're going to golf. I don't even golf, but I was like, with Niall, I'll do anything.
Well, so you make plans, but you never see them through. How Los Angeles...
Very busy.
Yes.
Busy running errands.
Yeah.
Running errands. You know, Orlando, we should shoot a movie together.
Now, Orlando, I want to talk to you about this, which is quite shocking. A story I didn't know, okay? That years ago, your house got burgled.
Yeah.
And it got burgled not just by any kind of regular burglar, by the infamous Bling Ring, OK? Oh. And now people don't know this, but you took matters into your own hands.
What did you?
Explain to us what happened.
Well, basically, I got a call some months later. The thing that was... They took a lot of things. It was a really weird situation.
What did they steal?
Clothing, but what they did find was a stash of watches that I'd had, and I didn't have a safe. It didn't even occur to me at that point in my life. Anyway, they took these watches, and there were some, because I've collected watches since I was still started making movies. I buy one each movie. It was like, and they took some very expensive watches. 3 months after the robbery, I got a phone call from a guy who I'd actually bought some of the watches from, saying, "I think your watches are surfacing." And I was like, "What?" So I go and meet the guy. Oh. And he goes, "I think you can probably get them back if you want to, you know." And I was like, "What?" I've got a... And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "OK. Well, can I get the contact for whoever this person was?" And he was like, "Oh, so difficult, you know." I was like, "OK." Oh. Anyway, long story short, I finally get the number of this guy. I'm calling this guy for maybe 3 to 6 months. Eventually, I find out where he's from, and it's a pawn shop down in the valley kind of thing. Anyway, and I just rocked up to his house one day, and to his shop one day, and I wired myself. I had a little microphone, and I got...
You put on your... like a private detective. You put on your own...
I called a private detective, and I said, "What do I do?" And he said, "Just get one of those little voice recorders, get one of these and do it." And I was like, "OK." So I go down there, and I'm
like no security or anything?
No,
like
just me.
Just down on his
I'm like, "Listen, I'm from Kent, bro." Henley on the Swole.
Sure.
No. Anyway, no, so I go down there, and I'm like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" He goes, "Orlando." You know, freaked out, because obviously I walk in, and I'm like, "Listen, no harm, no foul," but I hear... And he goes, "Yeah, well, just, you know," he was so shaky. One of those guys wearing all the silver, you know, the Mexican... Anyway, smaller, squat, but... Like,
wearing your watches.
Anyway, he goes, "Come back tomorrow." I'm like, "OK." Turn up the next day. He's like, takes me to meet his daughter. I'm like, in a shop. I'm like... I think he was trying to show me what was at stake, right? I was like, "Listen, no police, just I'd like to get my watches back." And he's like... And he goes, "Oh, listen, I've got to go round, I've got to rough some people up, there's this whole story." I'm like, "Wait, what?" I said, "Well, let's go, I'll rough some people up, you ready?" And he goes, essentially, he goes, "Oh, I can't do it right now." So I leave, I get a phone call in my car, 10 minutes later, he says, "Come back." I'm like, "Bro, I'm on my way to Thanksgiving lunch with my family." At the time with my ex, my son. I'm like, "I can't." He goes, "I'm not wasting any more time." And he goes, come back. On the table in his office, a box, I open it, and I just started to cry. I was like, I mean, I lost 10 watches, but 5 are the ones that... Because essentially that market is so peculiar. Like, how do you offload the kinds of watches that I had collected? It was very challenging. Yeah, I got them back, and that was...
Did you have to buy them back, or you just took them?
I just said, "Thanks very much, mate."
Wow!
What a story that is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if, you know... I think it was Sophia Coppola who made the Bling Ring. The movie of my getting the watches back probably been better.
That's a film in itself.
Yeah, I'll be in that one with you.
For sure.